Continue in the grace of God. Why is the devil promoting the law? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 56. Why does the devil promote the law? Because he knows that the strength of sin is in the law, and he discovered that it is in the Bible. Notice carefully word for word, the strength of sin is the law. This is contrary to the common understanding of people regarding the law, that it was given to prevent sin. That is why the theme of pastors' sermons nowadays is the law, and in their understanding, the law is meant to prevent sin. Hence, their teaching is do, or do not. This depends on what should and should not be done. This is the summary of the law. The bitter part of this is that the devil no longer has a hard time promoting the law. For many pastors in the local churches who preach it, as you preach the law, sin becomes stronger. The strength of sin is the law. The law was not given to prevent sin. What came first, sin or law? Sin, right? Therefore, there was sin even before the law. The law was given in Exodus chapter 20. Therefore, from Genesis chapter 1 to Exodus chapter 19, there was no law yet. Were people sinful during this time? When did the great flood happen during Noah's time because of sin? Genesis chapter 6. When did God destroy the twin cities of Sodom and Gomorrah? Also because of sin. Genesis chapter 19. And there was no law yet. When Israel came out of Egypt toward the promised land, they were trapped at the entrance of the Red Sea, and they rebelled against God and his servant Moses. Exodus chapter 14. Instead of being angry at his people because of the rebellion, God miraculously brought them across the Red Sea and saved them from certain destruction by the raging anger of the king of Egypt. Remember, the law had not yet been given, and Israel was already stubborn and rebellious. When they had crossed and continued on their journey, they complained and rebelled against God again because of the water. Exodus chapter 15. Instead of God getting angry and punish them, God miraculously made the bitter water sweet. During the ongoing journey, they complained and rebelled against God again, this time because of food. They sought meat and seemed to tire of the manna that fell from heaven. They were angry at Moses and rebelled against God because of this. Exodus chapter 16. Like the two previous incidents, instead of getting angry at his people, God caused quails to rain down so that they could eat meat just as they had requested. From Exodus chapter 14 to 16, God has been gracious to his people despite their sins. Instead of punishing them for wrongdoing, he blessed them with protection and provision. By the time of Exodus chapter 19, God spoke to Moses to reaffirm his covenant with Israel. This is a covenant according to his promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the ancestors of Israel. In Exodus chapter 20, the Ten Commandments were given. As many expected, because the law is here, sin would be restrained and Israel would behave. Isn't this the belief of pastors nowadays who teach the law? That is why they hold sermon series about the law to restrain the sin for their members. What happened after the Ten Commandments were given? Did it restrain sin? Their rebellion continues and they became worse. Exodus chapter 31, the stone on which the Ten Commandments were engraved had not yet cooled when Israel immediately violated it in the worst and most evil expression of rebellion. They made a golden calf. The stone, carved by the burning hand of God, still blazing, had the second and third commandments written on it. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. Exodus chapter 20, verse 3 to 6. The law did not prevent people from naturally sinning because it is in their nature to be in a fallen state as sinners. But unlike the previous three records of Israel's rebellion in Exodus chapter 14 to 16, there was no punishment and no one died because there was no law yet. Here in Exodus chapter 32, 3,000 died because of disobedience to the law. In Numbers chapter 21, their disobedience and rebellion against God over issues of drink and food occurred again. They traveled from Mount Hor along the road to the Red Sea to go around Edom. But the people grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God and against Moses and said, "Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the desert? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food." Numbers chapter 21, verse 4 to 5. In verse 6, then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. In the whole story, we learn that the law did not prevent the nature of man from sinning because its essence is in the fallen state of man as a sinner. The law was not given to stop evil. The law cannot prevent sin. The law presumes man's strength. The assumption of the law is that man is strong. So sometimes when listening to the pastor's sermons that under the law are lists of do's and don'ts, it comes from the presumption that this can be done by man on his own. This presumption is because the original sin is pride. What is the letter in the middle of the word pride? I, right? This is Lucifer's original sin. I focus on oneself. Lucifer said it like this: "How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the farthest sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12 to 14. Likewise, the original temptation was focused on man rather than on God. When the serpent tempted the woman, the serpent said, "You and your." This is what the serpent said to the woman. Then the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that in that day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Genesis chapter 3, verse 4 to 5. Lucifer's frustration to elevate himself and become like God was passed on to man, which in summary is focused on self-centeredness. This is how the law is: focus on one's own ability because the law presumes man's strength. Remember, the law was given so that man may see his weakness because of his fallen state as a sinner and rely on God's grace for salvation. To God be the glory. God bless you.